My name is Matt, and I am the owner of Bold Merchandise. I've been a screen printer, a t-shirt printer for over a decade. I really like doing it, and I would consider myself to be pretty good at it. So people always ask us how t-shirts are printed. And there's lots of ways. There's lots of new machines out there that can do it differently than the old way. But to be honest, 99% of t-shirts are screen printed. And that's what we do mostly here at Bold Merchandise. We screen print t-shirts, and we do it well. So to give you an idea of the process and what's involved, I thought I'd walk you through a t-shirt being printed. So first it starts with great art. Now you probably have art, it's probably already great. So send it over to us, and we'll take your great art and we do what's called color separations. We need to separate each color out into its own film. Once you have your film, you have to expose your screen. Now a screen is just a mesh that we push ink through, and it's coated with a photosensitive emulsion that blocks out all the holes in the mesh. And we take that over to our exposure unit and we put the film behind it. Wherever the black part of the film blocks out the light, the emulsion remains water soluble. Wherever there is no black and the ultraviolet light hits the emulsion, that area becomes water fast and won't wash away. Now exposure units are really important. If you're doing high detail art, you need to ask your shop if they have a good exposure unit, because just a simple light, cheapo exposure unit is going to give you really bad detail. And this is an area where a lot of shops can cheap out, because for really basic printing, any exposure unit will do. But for really high quality, high detail imaging, you need a really great exposure unit. Our exposure unit is awesome. Once we have your image burned on a screen, we take that screen over to the press and we line up all the colors in exactly the same positions. We register it to the film, which we tape down to where the shirt's going to be. Then we put ink in the screens, squeegee it in the screens, and we do a test print. And that's where the tweaking and the talent of the press operator comes in. It really takes an operator who knows what he's doing and has some skill and some talent to be able to tweak this print so that it looks perfect. Screen printing is not as simple as pressing a button and go. It really takes some problem solving. You can start with a print that looks okay, and with a little tweaking and a little knob turning and a little adjusting of angles and ink pressures and stuff, come up with something that looks 10 times better. Once that's done, we load up your shirts and we send them around the press. Sometimes they can just go around the press once, sometimes they need to go around the press twice and take a little longer. That's why black shirts cost more than light colored shirts, because often black shirts need to go around the press twice, sometimes 3 times, sometimes even 4 times. Once they're done, they go onto a dryer. And now this is another thing you need to be really careful of when you're choosing a screen printer. Make sure they have good dryers. Have you ever bought a shirt, taken it home, and the first time you washed it, it's all cracked? It's not your fault. You did nothing wrong. The printer did not cure it properly. It didn't have a proper dryer, and they're not constantly checking the heat. A shirt needs to get to 320 degrees to cure the ink. And you need to have really good dryers to be constantly maintaining 320 degrees no matter what you're putting in it and no matter what's coming out of it. So at Bold, we've got the best dryers we can come up with. We really like these workhorse dryers. They're the lowest energy rating for the most heat, and they do a really great job of curing a shirt. So then your shirt drops in a box, it gets folded up, it gets boxed up, it gets a shipping label on it, and it gets sent off to you, properly printed, properly cured. You take it out of the box and you go, oh my gosh, I designed this and it's so cool! And that's what we love. If you want some cool shirts, contact us at Bold. We'll make you happy.